Hello, gorgeous Michaela.
Hi.
Hello. I'm
Hi.
so excited to be here and talk about Freedom Queen Live. And I just heard you were on a helicopter ride. You are in France right now. I'm going to France with a client after Freedom Queen Live, doing multiple
Ooh.
client days and weekends in France. So I'm excited to talk with you about Freedom Queen Live. And I'm just curious, like, what made you sign up for Freedom Queen Live in the first place?
I was just like, hi. I was just thinking about it because I decided to buy the tickets. I decided in like 2 minutes from when I was like, maybe I should buy the ticket to then I bought it and then upgraded it to VIP.
Oh my gosh.
And I just had this knowing that I need to be in that room. And I've like, been in business for 8.5 years, and every single time I've had that type of knowing, I'm like, okay, that is the sign that I have to do it.
Yeah, you just move.
Yeah.
And where are you flying from to be there?
Stockholm, Sweden. So
Wow.
it's like a pretty substantial trip around the world.
Oh my gosh. And like when I remember when you messaged me after you bought your ticket, like
Mhm.
what was that feeling like? Because it was so fun in the DMs when you told me you were in.
Yeah, I mean, I could feel the expansion happening already. So it went from like me being, I've never had this like, oh shit, what have I done moment, but I've all felt like, okay, I've leveled up. And then went straight into creating new content pieces, new branding,
Yes.
a new offer suite. So I moved quick. And everything about it felt so up leveled. And it
Yeah.
felt like it was something that I'd been looking for a while, that kind of setting to be in. So it was just the best feeling ever, I would say.
I mean, that's incredible because when you decide to do
Hmm.
something, the root word of decide means to cut off.
Yeah.
You cut off your previous identity. So it makes sense why, when you bought your ticket to Freedom Queen Live and then you said, I'm upgrading to
Yeah.
VIP, you started making these different offers, better content. You experience a shift even before you're actually inside of the real room.
Yeah. Yeah. And how's your experience with that? Because I can imagine you've done those kind of leaps yourself as well.
That's such a great question. So many times. And the reason why I have the business I have today is because I moved even when it was scary, even when I didn't know what was necessarily going to happen as a result of it. I didn't have the money. I can think about the first time I invested in a conference. I didn't know where I was going to be in the world. So picture this, I buy my ticket like around a little bit more than this time to Freedom Queen Live, like 2 months. I don't know where I'm going to be, maybe Europe,
Mhm.
and I don't have the money. I wasn't even making 10K months. And when I decided to go to that conference, the tickets were 997 each, and I bought two for my partner and I for his birthday. And I immediately, Michaela, had my first 10K month
Mhm.
and my business started blowing up. The next launch I did right after that, I hit $22,500 in that launch. And that was huge for me at the time. At the time, $22,000 was like,
Yeah.
whoa, that's insane. But it makes sense because, there are little sneaky ways in your business where you play small,
Mhm.
where you don't show up. And so people say they're building a business, but they're not building businesses, they're pretending. And I know it because I did that the first 5 months of my company. It was like, oh, I'm building a business. Oh, you have this cool thing, you have some clients, but you're not really building a company.
Mhm.
And in order to show up and really build a business, you have to do things that that person would do. And so I was like, well, she would be in the room,
Mm.
right? She would be in the uncomfortable space with being activated by other people, getting out of your comfort zone. I can be sometimes introverted, speaking to people I've never met before. And that decision cut off the pathway, thank
Mhm.
goodness, of going down a mediocre pathway. And I know this is true for you, and I'm curious, anybody that's watching, put an emoji in the comment section below. If you did not start your life, your business to be mediocre,
Mhm.
mediocrity. You didn't start your business for that. You started your business to do something extraordinary. And so when I was like looking at the cost of going versus not going to that first conference, I'm like, well, I'm gonna
Yeah.
go. And it's so funny, I've been reflecting a lot on it recently. I just had a call with Russell Brunson yesterday. We were talking about Freedom Queen Live, and I was reflecting on the woman I was when I was in 2021, so newbie, afraid to be in the room, scared to be there, and she just went for it anyways. And thank goodness, thank God she went, because Freedom Queen Live today would not be happening unless that girl said, okay, screw it, I'm doing it, I'm getting inside of this room.
So that is such a good story, and it's a testament to what happens when you decide to go into the unknown, I would say.
Yeah,
And me being a career counselor at the foundational level, there's this theory called positive uncertainty, which is all about reframing those scary moments into, but what if? What if this is the next grand adventure? What if this is what will propel me forward rather than looking at change or uncertainty as something that you should avoid,
yeah,
basically. Mhm.
yeah.
How are
It's
you?
true. It's like, what story do you want to tell? The story
Hmm.
where you
Yeah.
settled for an average life, or the story where you went for it and it was so scary and oh my gosh, you fell on your face and you picked yourself back up again and you gathered all this wisdom and you did it and you got to the top of the mountain and you were like, wow, let's go climb another mountain now because
Hmm.
that was so fun.
Exactly. So I have some questions for you
Okay.
regarding conference because I'm curious about you. So I want to know from your standpoint, what are you most excited about regarding Freedom Queen Live?
I'm most excited for the moments when women say yes to themselves,
Ooh.
when women buy the ticket, when women get the plane, the flight, when women book the hotel room, when women are inside that room going, yes, I am all in. Because no one can take that away from you.
Yeah.
Your commitment to yourself, you saying yes to you, is one of the most courageous things you can do as the queen of your life. And when you say yes to yourself as a woman, and you say you're going to be the first millionaire, multimillionaire in your family, what happens is you start setting up these like wheels, I would call them, that
Mhm.
start turning and working in your favor. It's like, yes, yes, I'm going, I'm in, buy the ticket, I'm in, I'm all in for me. And you start turning these wheels that eventually will begin compounding. And over time, through you saying yes to you, not to anybody else, not to your family, not to someone you know on the internet, but when you move for you, you set all of the, you literally change your destiny.
Mhm.
You change the pathway that's ahead of you of like, again, Michaela could have said no to the event because she's flying from Sweden. Has all the reasons not to go, but you're like, yes, I'm in. So when
Mhm.
I watch women say I'm in, like that is what I'm most excited for because I know what it does for your future. You is looking back on you going, thank you for going. And then of
Mhm.
course, I'm so excited to see everybody. I think I'm going to be crying at this event. Like that's what will be happening,
Yeah.
like I'm bringing together 400 of the
Mhm.
best online coaches and service providers in the world. And this is a never been done before event. The event of the year is on this title. So imagine you're in this room with the best of the best, the cream, like the best people inside of this room. That's going to shift everything. Like this is a room of quality, not a room of quantity. This is a room of depth, not a room of
Mhm.
surface. And so it's not just like, oh, you're going to a conference, a business conference. It's just like, no, you don't understand. This is a gateway. This is a portal to your next, like that will change the trajectory of your business to your next milestone, to the next person that you're going to change. And so
Can you
that, like that,
imagine like the energy in the room?
yeah,
I'm just thinking about it, like when everyone meets and gets together and like really. full focus on their own businesses and collaborations as well. Like,
and like the women, you know, people are like, I care about my business. Like, you know, I'm doing this for impact. It's like, obviously. But what I know about the women inside of this room, they are pioneers of their own unique work. And it's not even like, I care. It's like, no, you don't know who I am. You're doing something that is going to change the entire planet.
yeah.
So like, it's a level deeper than care. It's like a DNA level. It's a cellular level. It's like deeper than impact. It's like changing the codes of people's lives and the generations to come. So it's not just like I want to make an impact through my coaching business. It's like no. What you're building is being written into the history books. That level of depth.
That is so interesting because you talk a lot about like creating and building these high-end movements rather than businesses or coaching business. Do you want to like share a bit about maybe your not the definition of a movement, but how it has evolved from when you started talking about the movement?
So, high-end movement is focused around a couple of things. Quality, it's focused around high levels of transformation and depth. So, for example, when you're building something like, let's use hotels as an example. When you're building something like the Hilton, I can't see the comments. Is something happening?
No, it was just funny because I keep seeing this bunny mask, and I just want to preface for everyone who's watching, I'm not crazy. It's not my room. I'm in a hotel room. That's very specific design.
You're in a hotel room. Yeah, okay. Like, I just thought, like, I don't know, maybe it's a part of your brand, the bunny mask.
No, though. So yeah, continue.
But wait, even you're building something average, like a regular schmegular hotel, you know, it's like surface level. Like you come in, you check in, you might stay at the Hilton, but you also might stay at Marriott, but you also might stay at like the Red Roof Inn. Like it doesn't really matter that much. But when you build a high-end movement that's focused on quality, depth, transformation, what happens is you build brand loyalty. And brand loyalty is very powerful. Why? Why is brand loyalty powerful? Because someone is going to stay with you for a lifetime when they are bought into your brand. I'm not going to stay with the Hilton because the Hilton doesn't care about me. A regular movement or even just a regular coaching business is usually focused on getting a bunch of people into a group chat and hyping them up and being friends with one another. That's not high-end movement. That's not quality. That's not brand loyalty. Another example is just transactions. It's just churn and burn. You have to pump out more content, bring in more clients. Clients finish your 997 course, you do it again. That's not brand loyalty. That's not high-end movement. Another one is you're easily forgotten about. Oh, so-and-so had a coaching business, but now she's gone, don't know where she was. Another example, like these are little symptoms I see from people that have regular coaching businesses. They're usually angry. They get very resentful, and it's like they're up and down, hot and cold constantly, because that's also a reflection of what? Of their income, of how they're operating in their business. It literally requires them, it requires you to show up, do the thing, and then you run out of money and then you do it again. High-end movement focuses on high recurring revenue. And this is something I'm going to be teaching on at Freedom Queen Live. High-end movement means consistent high cash months. I don't want to see you do one high cash month. I want to see you do it over and over and over again. Then I'll know you have a real business. Doing one high cash month and then putting it in your bio is not a business. And then relying on that one win to make you money forever is not a business. That's not sustainable. It might look good. It might go viral in a reel, but does it bring you money into your bank account and bring people into your business that changes their lives? No. But when you're able to do it over and over and over again, what's in the back end of a transaction that happens over and over and over again? What's in the back end of that? A transformation. So you're continuously transforming people's lives over and over and over again. And as a result of that, well, you build brand loyalty. Because when someone has a transformation inside of your programs, are they more likely to stay? Absolutely. And then they're going to keep investing and growing. And so you build a much more stronger brand. You become more well known. You build this incredible reputation because people feel something different in your world than they do in, say, just signing up for someone's coaching program who really has no idea who you are, doesn't actually care about you, and is just focused on pushing numbers or pushing results.
Mm. And I can tell that I can tell from the moment I started following you on this app and found out about you that you are very much into like the specifics, the details, but also the quality of the work and building something bigger and impact in the real sense of impact. So I think it's perfect that you're hosting Freedom Queen Live. I think it's an embodiment of all of that.
When did you first start following me on Instagram?
I think it was back in potentially 2022, maybe. I
Okay.
think. And I gravitated towards you because I was like, there's something different about you. And as the rebel, I'm always looking for people that are different, that stands out in their own way. Like, so that was the
I love
first
the rebel.
impression. Yes.
I love people with an edge, that
Mm,
rebelliousness. Like, ooh, like I might even disagree with them, but I'm like, you are
yeah.
edgy, and that I like you now.
Yeah, because I think it's all about like the people talk a lot about authority. I feel like authority building content and stuff like that, but they don't really have that kind of embodied authority, whatever that mean, or being like a leader
Wow.
in that sense. So it's a shift or it's a difference there. So now we're going into like a couple of weeks away from the conference, from the concert. I heard you call it the festival, the big
It's
happening.
yeah, it's like conference mixed with church, mixed with a concert, mixed with a portal,
I
mixed
love that.
with
I
everything.
love that. So, has there been, or I will rephrase it, what has surprised you during this planning time of this magical event?
Another genius question. Okay, so when you do really big things and you go first, right? Like coming to Freedom Queen Live for you, your family, your community, that's big. People look at you differently, and you also become a magnet for people. Why? Because when you go first, you pioneer something, it's different. It's like what you said, like, oh, it's unique. Like, wait, nobody else is doing this. Like, what is this? And that kind of goes back to high-end movement
Mm.
because high-end movement is rare, quality, depth, different, special,
Yeah.
extraordinary. And so when the biggest thing that shocked me to
Mm.
answer the question is have been how much of you going for it creates opportunities for others.
Mm.
So I've given a stage to so many people. I've created a platform for women to get on stage and speak to the audience that I've brought together of 400 people there. I've given people the opportunity to come in, 400 women to come into the room and be there and sit and have experiences where you go, I get it. Like I can actually do this. The hotel itself, like that's huge for them. You know, when you create, you go really big, you don't realize that you are actually creating pathways for other people to win. And I think that's been the biggest thing that shocked me is like, oh my God, this is not just changing Freedom Queen, right? This is not just taking our business to a huge company, but it's also creating opportunities for other women to live their dream life as well, just through the act of putting on something that is going to be absolutely out of
Yeah.
this world.
How does that make you feel, being like the pioneer in that sense and having that type of ripple effect?
It's interesting because I've never had feelings of like, oh my gosh. Like I've never had that feeling of like, it's happening. It's just like, yeah. Like, isn't that what you're meant to do?
Mm.
Like, aren't you meant to fulfill your destiny? aren't you meant to pioneer something that's never been done before? And so people will, I've had a lot of this, Michaela. People are like, oh my gosh, like you know, thank goodness you're doing this. Like you're the one to lead this conference. That's so big. And I'm like, is it? Or is it just like your next logical step? Is it scary to come to Freedom Queen Live? Does it not make sense? Or is it just your next logical step? Is it shocking to sign up for Freedom Queen Live? Or is it just your next logical step? Is it scary? Or are you just telling yourself some narrative that's actually designed for somebody else? And it's like, yeah, it's like when you look at the timeline, I think it makes sense. It makes sense that you're coming to Freedom Queen Live from Sweden, that everybody, if you're here live and coming to Freedom Queen Live, put an emoji in the chat. I can't see the comments if anything's coming through, but it's like, hi everyone. But yeah, it's like, is it illogical? Does it not make sense? Or does it make total sense in the grand scheme of things?
That is such an interesting perspective shift, because I think a lot of people default to the other scenario of being like, oh, thank God it's you doing
Right.
that and not me. Like always looking like that. And there's this law, or it's more a philosophy. I don't know if we have some Swedes in the audience, you can fill me in
Ooh.
on this. Called the law of Jante, which is very prevalent in the Swedish community or society, which is don't stand out, don't think that you're better than anyone else, don't take up too much space. Everything that is like keep yourself small, keep yourself in a box, in the norms. So I think also like Swedes, or a lot of Swedes have it built in of being like, oh, I have to really push myself if I'm going beyond those kind of limiting beliefs, because it's so ingrained in like our, yes, exactly, all our like societal standards.
Yeah.
So
I mean, and, but that's not, that's designed to control you. You're not going to make a lot of money with that. You will not make a lot of money. If you say you want like impact and income, don't move like most of society. Most of society is like their average income is was like me when I was in New York City. I was making $50,000 a year. I was in the like I don't want to use a word because I don't think Instagram likes it. I was in like the atmosphere of being a regular human being. I had limits. I lived for the weekend. Like I lived like a regular average human being for most of my life. And that's fine. But if internally you have this desire to do something big, like as a little girl, I always knew. I remember looking in the mirror, and I'm sure so many of you watching this now, you had that same feeling where it was like, oh, like I want to dream, I want to do something. And this isn't like cheesy, like this is real. Like I want to live a life where I could write a book and I'm crying, where I could write a book and it's like, oh my God, I just told the greatest story ever. Like, thank you for writing that. And I get so frustrated with people when they settle and they're like, I want the big life, but I want the big things, but, and it's like, you know, what you're actually saying is you want the bigness, but you want to actually be an average person. And so your life is not going to look like other people's, and it doesn't have to. You don't have to model someone. You don't have to copy someone. You don't have to blend in with other people. So also, by the way, if you're watching this live, Michaela, what do you have available for people to join when they sign up through and get their ticket?
yeah,
Through
so
you?
not only if you sign up through me, and I have a link in my bio as well, you get 10% off on your ticket. But of course, I had to create something rebellious. So
Nice.
I named it the Rebels Travel Essentials for this journey.
Cool.
And it's 1 week in Telegram with me where we will perfect your packaging, like your pitch. Because walking into a room like this, you will get the question of like, so what do you do? Multiple times per day. And we don't want anyone to go into like defaulting into, I'm a coach. No, you're not. You're a magical unicorn at what you're doing. So you have to like brand it and package it in that type of way. So I'm going to help them with that. And I'm also going to help them prepare for all the content they can create during the conference and really
Amazing.
like set the standard and the table for it. So not
And
only,
yeah,
yes.
where are most of your people flying from that are coming with you?
I would say Sweden, I would say I have some people that are like, maybe this is for me. And I'm like, yes, it is. And I would say that my audience is majority Swedes and some people, actually some Swedes living abroad as well. So international client base, but mostly Swedes. So
Nice.
that would be awesome. So if you join before August 31st, you get that. And I also know that you have this special bundle, right?
Yeah. So when you join before September 1st, you get the bonuses with Michaela. So the travel experience, I love that, where you're helping them be able to pitch their services, which is worth quadruple the price of the ticket. And when you sign up before September 1st, you also get access to the speaker bundle. And so the speaker bundle includes from different speakers programs on how to do 10K days, how to launch your offers, how to sell from Instagram, tapping for the nervous system. And all of the speakers, they've built businesses that do anywhere from 50K to 100K plus cash months. And so you're getting a bundle of programs from incredible speakers who have built multi seven figure companies as well. And it's just incredible, but you have to buy by September 1st.
So that is your notice. Make a decision. Jump on. What do you say? Like jump on the the spaceship or something like that.
Yeah, the crazy rocket
The
ship.
crazy rocket ship to Freedom Queen Live. And I would like to end with like one question. Do you have time for it? So,
Yeah, let's end with this one.
okay. How's it you have touched a bit on it before, but like take us through a little bit more about how is this Freedom Queen Live different from other conferences?
So when you go to a normal conference, a lot of the times it's put on by somebody who's running ads to cold traffic. Okay. Now, what happens when you run ads to cold traffic? Well, Joe from the block might sign up, who doesn't know what coaching is. Sally, who doesn't actually want to build a business, but's kind of signing up, so she comes. You reach the masses. This room is not like that. We're not running ads to cold traffic. We are targeting people of quality. So when you're inside of this space, you're going to be on a day-to-day basis having conversations with people. Literally, there's this like beautiful European cappuccino bar inside of the Vinoy, and there's like croissants and little danishes and whatever, lattes and espressos. You're there standing in line, and somebody behind you is like, "Hi, what do you do?" And Michaela's going to help you come up with your offer, or whatever it is that you do, pitch to them, your elevator pitch. And you have one conversation with them that changes your life. One phrase they say to you, and you're like, "I didn't even think of it that way." That quality conversation could change how much money you make that weekend. So it's not like, because I've been to other conferences before, and I'm actually going to a conference next week where some of the conversations you leave and you're like, well, that was kind of a waste of my time. Just people are fine, people are people, but you have a limited amount of time. And so it's like, imagine every single person you run into from in the elevator, the hallway, at the cafe bar, at the speakeasy that they have there. And you're expanded by that. So that's number one. Number two is the speakers that I've picked and the programming that I've designed is very niched. Now, niche programming gets you what? Higher results. When you're very surface level in the programming, so I've been to other conferences before that are like, feel good, build a business, sell an offer, make content. It's like, okay, if you're smart, you're going to know how to take that information and apply it practically to your company and get results from it, maybe, depending on what it is. I've been to some conferences before where I'm like, I didn't actually learn anything from that speaker. Like, I don't even know what you said to me, and I don't actually think it's valuable. I'm actually like yeah, but
Yeah.
at the same time though, you can learn something from everyone, right? So at Freedom Queen Live, we're walking you through how to build a high end movement using high cash months, high ticket sales, and building a worldwide community of people that are winners. So it's not like come just build a coaching business. It's let's build something of quality. Let's build the Disney World of the online space. Teach you how to be the Taylor Swift, the Beyonce of the coaching business. Teach you how to build something that is truly extraordinary. So that's the main difference. It's like, it's not about quantity, surface level, build a regular business, boss babe. But it's also not like super spiritual where I'm going to be like flowing around on stage. It's, I'm going to teach you really how to become the woman you're meant to be, the influential leader. And maybe for you, that is more of one side or the other, but ultimately you figure out who you are at this conference. You leave with immense clarity. You know how to sell, you know how to build a high-end movement, and you go out and you don't just speak about it like 99% of the world does, you actually do it.
Amazing. That was a great like wrap up to this session. Thank you
It
so
was
much
so good.
for coming up and hanging with me. And I just want to highlight a comment from Lorette. Amazing, let's go. The thought of FQ Live is ignited another level of possibility in me. And I
Yeah.
think that's